Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video I want to talk about how I transformed my climbing from struggling with 7A to climbing 7C eventually, and how I prepared myself to climb better than I used to in the past. So earlier on the channel I showed you guys some clips and stuff from the past and the boulders that we did back then, but this will be much more different because this will be my previous 3 years of training and how I prepared myself for that. So yeah, let's dive right in. So when I filmed this climb, I was already climbing for around 7 years. I usually did training, like the youth training, and yeah, I didn't really saw that much progression. I also didn't really train that much when I climbed or when I made this video or a little clip. And yeah, my strength was definitely only in crimps and not that much in slopers. I was pretty good, I think, for my age that I climbed, because I was, I think, around 14 when I climbed yellow boulders and red boulders, and sometimes I also climbed white boulders. But yeah, my progress was morely in power and in like static moves, and I definitely wanted to train that eventually. But yeah, basically, yeah, my focus was more around that, and yeah, you could also really see it in my climbing. I was like really careful with what I was doing, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't slip or fall, or that everything was really controlled.
Start met 2 handen op de startgreep. Dat brengt geluk. Ja, dat brengt geluk. Ja, zo. Meteen starten met 2 handen op de startgreep. Dat brengt geluk. Ja, ik ben al lang aan het filmen. Echt al lang.
But yeah, basically I didn't really took my training seriously. I didn't really had much to progress on because I usually just climbed in Kunsthof. I did competitions in the past, but I eventually just let that be and just morely climb for fun. Yeah, I definitely going to talk about my comeback to competitions, and I'm also going to try to do a lot of competitions in the upcoming years. So yeah, be prepared for that. But yeah, basically I didn't really climbed because I wanted to get stronger, but more for fun, and you could also just see that. So yeah, my level was around 7A in this time, and yeah, I sometimes did white boulders that were ranging from 7B to 8A.
Gekke jumpscare. Oh.
Hallo, heb je nog iets te zeggen?
Ja, deze gele is makkelijk en Abel kan het niet.
Daar ben ik het niet mee eens.
So this is an instant where I did a white boulder. Sometimes they were a little bit easier than the 7B, than like the lowest grade that the white boulders usually have, which is which has like the grade 7B. So yeah, this was a 7A plus. This was a pretty easy one and was also just graded 7A plus. But yeah, basically, yeah, I usually just did white boulders from the grade 7A plus to 7B because everything higher was just too hard for me back then. And yeah, you just could really see it.
Oeh. Nou, dit is de paarse wedstrijdroute. Nummer 11. Soepeltoom. Come on. Nice. Ja, nu is het gewoon uitklimmen. Het stuk is makkelijk. De laatste greep is een beetje rot, maar het is easy. Nice, easy.
So every year there is a competition in Kunsthof which is called Kunstwerk. When I climbed this particular boulder, that's when I wanted to really, try to get stronger, because this was like one of the hardest boulders in the competition, and I just couldn't do the rest of the boulder from like the zone. And yeah, that's where I wanted to get stronger. So yeah, this is where the infamous Ultimate Climbing compilation came from. This is when I really started to train really hard. I wanted to make videos to let you guys also see the progression that I made, and I'm still making progression from this day, and I really like to let you guys see that, because it's really motivating also for me, but also for you guys to see. So yeah, that's when I created the channel, because I wanted to see my own progression eventually after a few years, and see how much I have changed with like the styles that like the styles that I've climbed before and now. So yeah. But yeah, I was still not climbing serious, and I still tried campusing and doing dumb stuff, and as you guys can see here. And yeah, I didn't really knew where the channel was supposed to go on, which path, and how I would just what the goal for the channel would be. But yeah, one thing was for sure, and that's that I wanted to train really hard to eventually climb the hardest that I can climb. And yeah, doing hard boulders was definitely something that I had to do, and I also saw that, so I just tried to do as much hard boulders as I can, right, as I could, and try to push my limits with it. And yeah, doing really anti-style-ish boulders where I had to really go out of my comfort zone was definitely something that I had to do. My brother also did that, and he was also trying a really hard project, A7C, which he later on did.
Dit gaat heel goed. Ja, de toon staat goed, kom op. Kom op, uitklimmen. Kom op. Kom op. Nice. Nice.
Well, my brother did A7C already. I just couldn't go higher than a 7A+, because I just was like, it was just too hard. I couldn't do any purple boulders back then, and yeah, I just felt that I was still like missing a lot of power, a lot of technique, and yeah, that I really had to train hard to compensate for that. To say it this way, I had to do a lot of work.
Dennenboom, vondboom, mis. Maar niet heel erg, maar een beetje, zeg maar.
Ja.
Zeg maar als je echt goed oplet.
After that, I had a month where I felt really strong. I did some really hard boulders in Kunsthof, some 9s and 110. This was in the session where I did the floating replica in Kunsthof, and yeah, that was basically one of my 670s that I ever done in Kunsthof. And yeah, I felt really strong in this session, and wanted to move on and see if I could do even harder climbs and train more on 9s to do eventually more 10s. This was a really cool boulder when I look back at it. I really enjoyed this one. Of course, we can't forget this blue 7B floating replica. As you could see, my footwork was really bad back then. And after the session in Kunstorf, I eventually went to Krastorf where I did this red 7A+. I felt quite strong, but yeah, basically Krastorf was really hard back then, so there wasn't really that much that I could, really climb in camera back then. But I started training in Krastorf more because there were more dynos and more hard stuff that I could really, try hard on and train more power on, so that's what I did. About 2 months later, I went to Revolt for my last session before the summer vacation, where I went to Fontainebleau to climb outside. I did 2 7As and a 7A+ in Fontainebleau. I'm not gonna show that because you guys probably want to just see the original clips. And yeah, I have shorts that I made from those clips, which are in my YouTube channel. But yeah, basically I did 2 7Bs in this session and some other boulders, but basically yeah, I felt a lot stronger, and yeah, I felt like I was really, starting to level up my climbing, and yeah, I just felt that I was now really beginning to get to a point where I can safely say that I can climb 7Bs now. I also started seeing that my dyno skills were beginning to get better, and that I really wanted to know that I really took more risk into climbing, which made better performances, like this 7A slab. Then going into the summer vacation, I did this 7B in Krastorf, which I was really happy about, because it was graded 7B for a reason, and there weren't super much tops on this boulder. Then I went to Bosse Boulders, where I did some 7As. I didn't really do super hard boulders. I did, I think, 4 or 5 7As and 2 7A+. But yeah, I definitely felt stronger. But yeah, my technique was still like not that good, so yeah, I wanted to train that. And I also went on and trained that more. And I also trained more dynamic skills after this trip. And then eventually I went back to Delft Blauw to try to climb some purple boulders, and I did the 7-8 plus with that flashed then, and I felt like I was getting a lot stronger. I also did my first 7C in Delft Blauw. Then came my second last video about Kunststof, where I did my first 7B plus in Kunststof. I also did the 7-8 plus in this same session, and yeah, I eventually did it 10 times to just, you know, make sure that I could always do this kind of dynos.
Allee man. Kom aan Toon. Goed pakken. Goed hard erin. Ja, goed zo. Niet missen nu. Goed zo, goed zo. Linkervoet. Netjes.
After the 7B plus, I had 2 weeks left for my summer vacation, so I went back one more time to Revolt to do this 7B. Then after the summer vacation, I went back to Krachtstof to have one of my worst experience on my dyno yet. I had to do this boulder 5 times to eventually do the end move, where I fell 5 times. And then I did my first 7C in Monk, Amsterdam. After a a lot of moonboard climbing, my foot technique, and also my diving skills after a lot of climbing in Krasdorf went better and better and better. I wanted to let you guys see this boulder because this boulder is really cool. So yeah, now we are at where I'm now. So yeah, basically I've learned a lot in these 3 years, and I definitely want to see how I will be improving in the future. I have already set some goals that I really want to accomplish for in the future, and also have a lot of video ideas that I still want to upload and do. And yeah, I really hope that I could do that in the future of this channel. But yeah, I trained a lot, and I've done really hard scuttleboard climbs, but also really hard moonboard climbs to have enough power to do what I can do in right now. And yeah, I definitely have what I definitely have right now is that I have more trouble with maintaining good finger skin than really struggling right now. But yeah, I definitely know that if I have more finger skin, I can be able to do more stuff in the future. But yeah, basically, with really hard grades comes a really hard training schedule, and also really hard training with it. You just really have to push your limits when you really want to have a really strong body, but also a really strong climbing session, and climb really hard. You really have to train hard for that. And yeah, that's where I wanted to end this video with that. 3 years ago I was on 7A, and I was basically on that level and could maybe do once every 2 months a 7A plus. I have seen that with hard work and dedication, and really looking with what I did wrong or what I could do better, and that's what helped me to get to the point where I'm now.